Hi everyone, my name is Katie Mosier. I am a realtor here in the Permian Basin with Keller Williams Realty in Midland, but my family and I live in Andrews, Texas. My husband and I, we moved over here to Andrews 4 years ago for a job relocating for his company. And when we were online looking at all the houses, looking at all the towns, trying to gather as much information to make the best decision for us in our future, there wasn't a whole lot of accessible information. And when I say accessible, in the short amount of time we needed to move, I didn't have 30 days, I didn't have 90 days to do all of this research or even visit each town separately and make a decision. But anyways, full circle. I am 25 years old. Of course, like I said, I've been married for 5 years. We have a little girl, a little toddler. I have a nephew and a niece on the way. My brother and my sister-in-law, they live in Granbury, Texas. Jealous. My parents live in Lubbock, Texas. Like I said, when we moved here, there just wasn't a whole lot of specific information that I was looking for. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to give you as much information as possible. If you are considering moving to Andrews or the surrounding areas, I have that information as well, which I will do more videos on Midland, Odessa, Seminole in the future. Our population as of the census in 2020 was 13,000 people, and they estimated it to grow to about 14,000 as of right now. According to worldwidepopulation.com, they are expecting our population to grow a little over 15,000 people in the city limits around 2027. Now, if you are familiar with the West Texas area, you already know that our economy is heavily reliant on oil and gas production, but what follows right behind that is livestock production. One thing that was highlighted when COVID was over and the housing market started to be a little iffy, interest rates started rising, everyone started freaking out about a housing market crash. Well, that didn't happen around here. That is mainstream media. We have our own little protective oil and gas bubble over here. It is the source of our funding down here. So it wasn't that we were exempt from dealing with the high interest rates. It was just that the housing market was not really being affected by the rest of the nation. From information we've gathered at team meetings and all of the classes that we have taken as a team and myself as an individual agent, it has come to light that over here in the Permian Basin, the average price of a house will continue to rise over the next 5 years. So with that being said, everything in Andrews, I'm going to hit the high notes on this video, and then I plan on doing a much detailed video about the things that I mentioned here in this video. So in our town, we have one hospital, the Permian Regional Medical Center, and then we have 4 different clinics. We have one clinic that's attached to the hospital. We have another clinic that is tied to the hospital, but it's actually a few blocks away. And then we have 2 other independently owned clinics here in town. Now, of course, if you're anything like me, a complete foodie, you're gonna want to know how many restaurants there are, what kinds. We have all kinds. So not only do we have fast food restaurants, but we also have mom and pop restaurants as well. We have McDonald's, we have Subway, Wendy's, we have Taco Bell, Texas Burger. I mean, we have several, and those are just the fast food ones. Now, one of my favorite Tex-Mex places to go is Fresh Mex. They have good tacos, and all their other food is so good too. So not only is there Fresh Mex, but there's La Fugata, we've got El Amigo, like there's so many here in town, and I'll put a list out so you can see all of the ones that we have. It'll kind of blow your mind for such a small town. And if you are native to the area, or if you're not, you have probably heard that our town is most famous for Buddy's Steak Fingers. They have been around for so long. They are literally the best steak fingers I've ever had in my life. They pile up this little cardboard boat just full of fries, toast, gravy, and steak fingers. Like me and my husband, we split one order because if we get 2, we have so much left over. And following that, we also have Amore, we have Cassidy's, we have Western Grill. There's just so many options here in town. Now, when you've lived here for 4 years, like my husband says, he's like, oh, there's nothing to eat here in town. Well, it's because we've eaten everywhere at least 10 times. So if you want a complete list of all of the restaurants just to look, I'm going to attach it in a link at the end of this video. One thing that I do love about Andrews is that not only do we have Sonic as a drink stop, but we also have HTO, oh my goodness, the best, and Tea2Go, which is Tea Energy, and they are locally owned. Another thing you'll hear me say throughout this video and all the other series that I'm going to do is I'm going to promote more on the small business side, just because that's what makes so much of Andrews. We have so many small businesses in town, whether they have a storefront or not, and I'm also going to make a list of those small businesses. That way you can refer to that list whenever you need anything done. Now, as far as churches go, we have several different churches to choose from. We have several Baptist churches. We go to First Baptist Church here in Andrews. They are wonderful. There's also Crossroads. They are non-denominational. There's Catholic churches, Church of Christ. There is not a shortage of churches around here, so you have your options if that's something you're into. So here in Andrews, we have, of course, city limits and county, just like any other town. In the county is the Ace Arena, where we hold concerts, where we hold rodeos, all kinds of events out there. Now, if you are attending an event that is in the county and it's at a county-owned building or property, it's BYOB. They can't sell it from their end. Speaking of alcohol, there are a few restaurants here in town that serve alcohol. The ones that I know of as of right now is El Amigo, La Fugata, and Amore. Alongside those restaurants, we also have a beer barn called Thirsties, where I call it a beer barn. And then the convenience stores around town also sell beer and wine. Now, one of the things that popped out to me the most about Andrews, I guess, is we have a lakeside park, which is a pond, but they don't consider it a pond because of its size, but they call it the Lakeside Park, which has a huge playground for kids, and there's actually a whole sectioned off for toddlers. I think it's to the age of 5, and then kids who are older than 5 and up, there's a whole different playground for them. And not only is this playground like really cool, it's covered, so in the summertime with that beating sun, your kid isn't going to get burned going down the slide when it's like 100 degrees. And then of course, around the entire Lakeside Park, there is a jogging, biking, walking trail, which is really beautiful. And then we also have the Wetlands Park, which is a little closer to our house, so that's where me and Michaela go when we go on our daily walks. There is another big jogging, walking, biking trail that's concreted, and actually the Lakeside Park is asphalt. The Wetlands Park is just as nice. It doesn't have any playground equipment though, but that's fine because we just go there to walk. It is just a big old catch-all for the drainage when it rains too much, kind of like the lakeside, but the lakeside obtains more water most of the time. And finally, we have Pioneer Park. Pioneer Park is located north of the splash pad, which I'll get to in a minute. But it has playground equipment that is also covered. It has a pavilion and several picnic tables, and it's a very popular spot for families who want to have an outdoor birthday party or an outdoor graduation party, anything you can think of. Something we are also famous for over here is our splash pad park. It's huge. There's a swimming pool. There's also a whole side for little ones. It is so cool during the summertime. And then of course they have season passes that are, I believe, $20 a year. And so you may save a little depending on how much you go, but it can get a little crowded during the summer. A really cool thing that our city does is, since they own that park and take care of it, is every winter they set up a day and a time for parents to literally line up outside and reserve dates at the splash pad. So you can reserve the entire splash pad park for just your kid's birthday. It is so popular. The line is always so long and the dates go so quick. And speaking of kids, our school district, we have one school district and 5 whole campuses. That is so different than the 6-man, very, very small school that I grew up in, where grades pre-K through 12th was all in one building. So at Clear Fork, it's pre-K through 1st grade. And then we have Devonian, forgive me if I'm butchering that word. I don't ever know how to pronounce it exactly, but it is 2nd through 3rd. Underwood is 4th through 5th. And then we have Andrews Middle School and then Andrews High School. With that being said, the Board of Trustees is calling for an election on May 6, 2023 of this year, just in a few months, regarding a $156.7 million bond to improve all of the campuses. So we're looking at new and improved locker rooms. We're looking at a new band hall in the high school. There's going to be some renovations in the middle school. It's going to be huge if this passes. And like I said, this is just hitting the high notes of Andrews. I'm going to go into more detail about this stuff if y'all want me to in future videos. If there's certain things that you have questions about and you're not native to this area, or even if you are, if there's something that I can help you with, please let me know. So it's safe to say that our town is growing and it's going to continue to grow. I have no doubt about it. We have several different subdivision tracts that are being built and established right now, north of town, in the county, in town. Just, you have so many options if you are needing to move ASAP. Our average close price on a home here in Andrews is $250,000, which isn't bad compared to most places. And the average days on market ranges around 90 days for the entire town. But for specifically our little subdivision here on the southeast side of town, we're looking more about 30 days on the market on average before we go under contract. And then you're looking at 45 to 60 days to close. If you came across this video and you're just doing some research on the towns in the Permian Basin, or if you have family that live here and you're considering living here, or if you've recently moved here and you still have questions about it, this is why I'm doing this video. I'm trying to give you everything you need. One of the things that a lot of people ask is, where the heck is Andrews? And I just tell them, oh, north of Midland, north of Odessa, you know, up there in this area. But this is actually a map of where we're at. We're roughly 112 miles south of Lubbock, 170 miles west of Abilene, 45 miles north of Midland, and 35 miles north of Odessa, 150 miles northwest of San Angelo, and finally about 55 miles southeast of Hobbs, New Mexico. Our Chamber of Commerce does a fantastic job about hosting events in town. It is awesome. They do a huge 4th of July thing. They're doing a Wild Wild West Fest this year, which is a carnival and booths and food trucks. It's going to be super cool. That's going to be in April. And they do a huge Christmas parade here in town, and they have events leading up to that. They go all out, and it is so cool. If you ever want any more information about a specific event that they're hosting, whenever I do mention that, you can always go to their website, which is andrewstexas.com. And also the City of Andrews has a website, and it is very informative as well. It's cityofandrews.org. Now, if you are feeling overwhelmed with all of the information I just spit out, that is okay. I have a local guide that I created. I can send it right to you. If you'll just click the link below in the bio, I will get your email address. You don't have to put your phone number on there. If you'll just put your name and your email, that way I know who I'm sending it to you, and I can tell you thank you for reaching out. But it has everything that I just went over and even more stuff in detail. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching my video. Thank you for just taking the time, listening to me babble on. Sometimes I go off on a rabbit trail. Sorry. So don't forget to subscribe and like this video. It helps me out a ton. But I hope you guys have a great day and a great week, and thank you so much for listening.